K YouTube Live, and today I'm going to show you how I made a card with one of the newer stamp sets that Stampin' Up! Has from their January to April 2023 mini catalog. And the stamp set's called Legendary Ride. And so it's obviously for someone who likes motorcycles, and I think you'd be either man or woman, whoever, again, I know there are all sorts of people that ride motorcycles. I, however, am not one of them. My dad is, so he's into that sort of thing, but I'm not. But like I said, I thought it was kind of a cool stamp set bundle, and thought I'd show you a quick card that I made with it. I did kind of borrow a few ideas out of the Stampin' Up! Catalog for this one, but I don't know, added a few little things, combined a few cards together, and I was pretty happy with the way it turned out. So, hey, Karen and Pam, thanks for hopping in today. I appreciate you being here. So this is a card, and I'll be working on that in just a second. In the meantime, the Legendary Ride stamp set is a pretty cool one. Like I said, it's got the motorcycle images in it, got some good sentiments in it, some mixed fonts and that sort of thing, which I do like. There's a little wrench in here, a little background, I don't know, kind of deserty look image almost to me, and then the flames, so it's kind of a cool set. Hey, Gwen, thanks for joining. I appreciate you being here. And then, of course, there are the coordinating dies, and this die actually coordinates with this motorcycle. This one coordinates with this one. And then there are, this one actually coordinates with the little desert kind of plant image here, and then this one coordinates with the wrench, and this one does the flames. But there are also a whole bunch of pieces that you can cut and layer together, and make your own motorcycle in whatever colors you want, and you could add like the chrome pieces and all that stuff to it if you want to. So it's a cool set, so definitely a good bundle. Again, if you know anyone who likes motorcycles, it's a good one. All right, so there we go, got that. And then a couple other things that I used on this. And I only use this for a tiny little bit. You probably didn't even notice it initially on here. But I've got a little piece of the silver foil specialty paper that I embossed with the metal plate 3D embossing folder, which is also part of that same suite. And it's a cool embossing folder. So, hey, Mary, glad you're here, and Carol, and Marilyn, and Pamela. So, you should be receiving the suite today. Yay, good. Well, have fun using it. It's a pretty cool one. So, all right, so I did use the metal plate 3D embossing folder. And then for the sentiment, I actually used the center die here, the center die cut, I should say, from the Picture This dies. So these dies are cool because you can actually use them to cut an entire piece of cardstock. So if you want to have like peek-through holes or windows into the background of your card, you can use this. Or you can do what I did and just cut a smaller piece of paper and stamp on it and have it cut a sentiment too. I use the circles all the time for that as well. And then the last thing that I used is the stitched rectangle dies. I used the third largest of the stitched rectangle dies, just to cut out the background crumb cake panel. So, and I'll show you all that as we're going through and making the card. All right, couple things before we get going. I have got my ordering special, the one that I usually do in February, right around Valentine's Day, going on again. And if you order $50 or greater through me, by the 14th of February, you're going to get a free adhesive of your choice from the ones that Stampin' Up! Has listed on page 127 in the annual catalog with your order. So that is in addition to getting a Running Shoe reward point from me, and you're going to get a celebration item from Stampin' Up!, and you're going to get your regular $10 thank you gift from me, and then on top of that, you're going to get adhesive. So it's a good time to order. If you're thinking of ordering or on the fence, definitely consider it. My reward points, you actually, you collect those points for every $50 that you order in a single order. And once you accumulate 8 points, you get a $40 free order of your choice from me. So let me know if you have questions about that. The details are posted on my blog today, which is stampwithamyk.com, and I will also put the details out on my blog post tomorrow when I post this card, so you'll be able to read them all then as well. So, hey, Barbara and Judy, glad and Drew is here too. So. A couple of other things. Celebration is going on right now, and I'm sure you all have seen the original Celebration brochure, but Stampin' Up! Has also put some new items out as available for to pick for free with orders of $50 and $100. So lots of great deals. These are all annual and mini catalog items. So there's some designer series paper, some masks, a couple of embossing folders, punches, kits, and then an entire bundle. So lots of good deals. Let me know if you have any questions about that or Celebration. Again, it's all on my blog, which which is stampwithamyk.com. So, hey, Laura and Penny, thanks for joining. And then the last thing I wanted to chat about, Stampin' Up! Has a really awesome joining promotion going on for Celebration. You actually have your choice of 3 different starter kits. So the first 2, you pay $129 plus tax if that applies in your area, and you get to pick either the boho blue or the white mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Plus, you get to pick $175 of your choice of Stampin' Up! Merchandise from either of the 2 current catalogs or the online store. So that is a really, really good deal. Probably one of the best ones that I've seen adjoining promotion. And then they have a third option where if you don't want to get the little mini machine, and you just want the really good deal on the merchandise, Stampin' Up! Has got it. Normally you get $99 is what you pay, and you get $125 worth of merchandise. If you join during Celebration, you actually get $175 worth of your choice of merchandise from Stampin' Up! And then once you join, you actually get your 20% discount on everything that you order, or at least a 20% discount on everything that you order. You can attend Stampin' Up! Events. You get to be part of our little group. So let me know if you have questions about that. I'd be happy to chat with you more about it if you're not already a demonstrator. So, all right. Hey, Susan, thanks for hopping on. So let's get started on the card finally after all the yakking. So I've got a pumpkin pie card base, which I'll honestly say orange is not one of my favorite colors. And it's not one that I use very often other than fall. But this suite has got lots of oranges in it. So I got over my orange thing and decided I was going to go ahead and do it with the colors in the suite. And then this is some of that Ready to Ride Specialty Designer Series paper. And it's specialty because the back side of it, actually, the side gluing down, has kind of a shiny print on it. And this one looks like tire tracks. But I actually wanted the orange side to be up today, so that's the one we're going to be using. So, hey, Susan, thanks for joining. And Susan, thanks for joining from Wisconsin. So I have got the card base. Again, this is one of those cards that you can either use the standard card base, your book fold one, which is your 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 down the side, or you can do the card base like I prefer, which is the top fold, and this one is 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5.5. The card front size is exactly the same, so everything still works the same on it. It's just a matter of which fold you prefer. I prefer the top fold, so those are generally the ones that I do. But if you like the side fold, this works for that too. So oranges for Harley people. Yeah, that's probably true, Rosie. I hadn't thought about that. I'm just like, orange. Okay, get over it. So, all right, so I've got a piece of that designer series paper that I cut to 4 1/4 by 5.5, and it should be cover the entire card front if I've cut everything correctly. Next up, I cut another little piece, and again, this is specialty on the back side. I'm not using the shiny side at all today. I'm using just the dull side, the plain old boring side. And I got this piece is cut to about 3 inches by about 4 1/4. And what I'm going to do is, as you'll note, the card front, a lot of this is covered. So I'm not even going to bother to color anything in the middle. I'm going to be the lazy Amy colorist, whatever you want to call me. And I'm just going to color the stuff that you can see. and that's kind of, yeah, how I'm rolling on the how I color this designer series paper, because I didn't want it to take forever to do, because I'm kind of, I'm kind of the lazy stamper, and I fully admit it. I do whatever I can get done quickly. But yeah, I thought I still wanted to add a little color to it. But like I said, didn't want to spend a whole ton of time coloring the entire panel and then have nobody be able to see it anyway. All right, so I have got Crumb Cake is my first color, and I'm using the light Crumb Cake at this point, which is mostly what I used on my card when I was coloring it as well. And we're just going to go in here, add a little bit of color here and there. And then maybe we'll leave that. We'll make the motorcycle orange, so I'll color some of the building here with the Crumb Cake. And this is kind of how I did it when I colored the other panel that I've got here, is I just sort of picked random pieces of it to color, because it's sort of, I didn't want to color every single bit of it, but I wanted to have color on it, if that makes sense. So, all right, let me switch over. It is, yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, I'm sure it is a very good looking bike, but I'm just not really into it. So, hey, Rachel, thanks for hopping in, joining from Canada. So I've got soft suede is the next color that I'm using. And this one is the light soft suede. And again, I'm just adding a little color here and there. And I'm trying to decide if I want to put some, I think I'll color this part of the sign. The little Maybe put a little bit on the ground here, and maybe a little around the framing of the door. And then I think I'll color in a little bit on the building. And the burger, I should probably color that in with the darker brown. And then on this one over here, just going to add a little bit of color to the building. And again, I'm going to be super lazy and not even color the whole building because it's not going to show anyway. And so here, I'm going to be adding, again, soft suede. And this might show, so I'm going to go ahead and color that. Then I'm going to come back in, waiting for your computer to catch up. All right. Then I've got light pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do a little bit of coloring with that as well, again, because pulling the pumpkin pie in from the background paper. I don't think I need to worry about coloring that. I'm going to flip this, and we'll color in the French fries and maybe, I don't know, a little bit on the burger. And then we'll do the motorcycle here with orange. Oh, that's probably the seat. I'll come back and color that again. So probably don't want the seat to be orange. I'll come back in with my dark soft suede and color in. Well, maybe that's not the seat. I'm not entirely sure what it is. I'm not a motorcycle. I don't know much about them. I know that they have two wheels and that they go fast. But other than that, that's about the extent of my knowledge of motorcycles. So again, the main thing I wanted to do was just get a little bit of color along the edges. And then I see one more cloud that I missed over here that I'm going to color with my crumb cake Stampin' Blends. And I think we're going to call that good because most of it's going to be covered anyway. So, all right. Then I am taking a piece of basic black cardstock. If I didn't say, this one's cut to about 3 inches by 4 1/4. This is cut to about 3 1/8 by 4 1/4. So if I've measured everything correctly and cut it correctly, it should fit nicely together with just a little bit of a peak of the basic black underneath. I'm using Stampin' Seal. So I'll look at the YouTube video. Okay, all right, that'll work. And you're actually on YouTube right now, so I'm not sure which video you're looking for, but hopefully you can find the one you're looking for. Susan, hey Linda, thanks for joining. All right, so I'm going to take this and adhere it to the card front. Whoops, again with Stampin' Seal. Come on, there we go. And I'm just going to kind of put this, try to line it up here a little bit on my grid paper so that I have a general idea of whether I'm getting this on here somewhat straight and somewhat evenly. And we'll just go ahead and stick the two pieces together. I almost had a moment where I thought I put it on completely upside down, but I did not. So, all right, take that and set it aside. I did go ahead and pre-cut this piece of cardstock because it was just running it through the die cutting machine with the third from the largest stitched rectangle die, and this is just crumb cake cardstock. So I just did a little die cut ahead of time, so you didn't have to watch me do that. And we're going to adhere this together with some Stampin' Seal. And I've got a piece of basic black cardstock, and this one is cut to about 3 1/8 wide by about 4 1/2 tall. Just going to adhere them together with the Stampin' Seal. And then interested in the purchase of the dream box. Okay, I'm not entirely sure what a dream box is, but hopefully you're able to find it, Susan. All right, so let me go ahead here and get some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of this piece of cardstock here. We're going to stick this to the card front. And again, just try to get it centered and kind of in the middle of the card, centered straight. That's what I'm aiming for. Whether I can get it that way or not, it doesn't always work, but it's close enough. All right. Next up, we're finally going to get to a little bit of stamping. So I have got a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and it was just a scrap that I had cut, or a 1/4 of a sheet about, I don't know, probably a little larger than a 1/4 of a sheet. And I have got basic gray ink. And, oh, you like the card layout? And your son's birthday, he's into motorcycles? Yep. So this one would be a good one. It's a really pretty simple and pretty quick to get done. So, oh, thanks, Rosie. I appreciate that. So this is basic gray that I used for the first one. And then I'm going to take this and close up my ink pad. And then I'm going to clean off my image here. Try to get most of the ink off of it. And then I'm going to grab Tuxedo Black Memento ink. That is the next color I'm using. And we're going to ink up the motorcycle image. And if you really wanted to get a good solid image on for the tuxedo black, because this one sometimes I get really good images with it, sometimes not as good, you can use your Stamparatus. But with this one, since it's sort of a vintage look to the card, I didn't necessarily care that I got a super, you know, really dark, kind of crisp image on it. So I was okay with just stamping it as it was and not using the Stamparatus. Then I'm cleaning the stamp again in between times here, and I'm going to grab pumpkin pie ink. So it's a cool stamp set. Like I said, it was one that, you know, I wasn't sure about it when I saw it in the catalog. I'm like, I don't know. My dad's kind of into motorcycles. I think I'll go ahead and get it. But yeah, I'm glad I did. It's pretty cool. So, all right. Again, that was pumpkin pie ink for the last one. Now I'm going to grab, and this is going to take me 3 passes through, and I probably should have done some of these ahead of time, but I didn't, so you'll have to bear with me. But I'm going to grab the stamp, or grab the Legendary Ride die that coordinates with it, and I'm going to go run this through my die cutting machine 3 times here to get the little motorcycles cut out, so you can, you know, chatter amongst yourselves while I do that. And I do my die cutting off to the side so I don't wiggle the screen, hopefully too much for you. But I am away from my camera for a second, so my voice will kind of fade out and come back. All right, let's see if I can get the die cutting done. Hopefully you are enjoying your Tuesday. It's, I don't know, kind of a chilly day. Not terribly cold, chilly day here in New Jersey. So, all right. Die cut number 1's finally done. So there's the first one. And then, got to get everything lined up and run it back through 2 more times here. Hopefully, if I can get my die to cooperate. All right, and the second one's done here. There we go. And then I'll get the last one. And hopefully I don't knock everything off in the meantime. All right. Okay, so there we go. We got those die cuts done. And set my little pokey tool aside here. And set the die set out of the way. And then I'm going to grab some mini glue dots, and we're going to stick the little motorcycles on the card. Love the sound effects. Yeah, Rosie, yep. I like it too. So I hadn't thought about making those sound effects here by myself. The dog probably would have thought I was insane if I was over here making vroom vroom noises. But thank you, Rosie, for sharing them with us. So, all right. Taking about 3 glue dots and sticking these on here. So I'm going to start the tuxedo black one. I'm going to put up here nearest the top. It's, again, one of those things where I'm just kind of eyeballing it and not necessarily worrying about getting it super straight and exactly in the center, but just generally wanted it in that direction. And then I'm going to take the basic gray motorcycle, and we're going to line that one up right underneath the tuxedo black motorcycle. And then there's going to be a little gap here in the middle because I'm putting the sentiment over the top of that. But then I'm going to take the pumpkin pie and pumpkin pie die cut motorcycle, and we're going to take the glue dots and stick that on. So hey Debbie, thanks for hopping in today. And then we're going to take that and stick it down here near the bottom. So again, they're not exactly evenly spaced, but I'm going to be sticking a sentiment over the center, so it doesn't really matter. Nobody's going to know that. So ahead of time, this I did do ahead. This is the foil sheet, silver foil specialty paper is what it's called. There are 3 different types of foil sheets inside it, and this one actually is, it's textured and a darker foil. So it's the shiny textured darker foil. There are three foils in it. One's a lighter, 2 are darker, 1 is kind of a matte finish, and this is the shinier finish one. So if that helps you to figure out which one it is, hopefully it does. And I embossed it with the Metal Plate 3D embossing folder, and then just took my Stampin' trimmer and basically trimmed it off at an angle on both sides. And I'm going to take that, and we're going to adhere it here to the card front. And the original piece of paper here started out at about 4 1/4 inches wide, half inch tall, about 4 1/4 wide, and I just trimmed a very, very little bit of it off. So, all right. Next up, we have got the sentiment. And I'm going to stamp that in Tuxedo Black Memento ink, if I can find my ink pads and everything back, because I'm kind of a mess right now. Hey, Carol, thanks for joining. So Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and then the sentiment here, and I've got crumb cake cardstock that I'm going to be stamping it on. And it doesn't matter if I happen to stamp it upside down or right side up, but I did get it right side up today. Sometimes I don't. And I'm going to grab the Picture This dies. And then I used the middle of the die set here to cut out the sentiment, because it was kind of the perfect size for it. So I figured I would go ahead and grab that and cut it out with that. So I'll be off screen again for a second, doing my die cutting over here. And Rosie, you can proceed to make your motorcycle noises as I'm off screen. All right, there's my die cut. Get the leftovers out of here, and then I'm going to grab, whoops, I'm not putting it on that card, I'm putting it on this one. I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. The only thing I need to be a little bit aware of is I don't want to go all the way out to the edges, because this is just slightly wider than the paper is that I'm sticking it to. I can get close to the edge, but don't want to go all the way out on the edge of the cardstock. So... Rosie is making vroom vroom noises. So, yes, it's a thing. So every time I see this set, I'm going to think of Rosie and her noises. So, all right, I'm going to take this and we are going to adhere it right over the top of the embossed piece. And I'm going to try to get it so that it's centered. Again, it probably isn't going to be perfect, but try to get it as close as I can get it to that. All right, last thing that I added on the card front are a couple of the adhesive back studs, is what they're called. And I went back and forth and tried to decide which shapes to use and all that sort of thing, and then finally just decided to use the circles because I don't know, I couldn't get the other side, the other shapes. I don't know, I just struggled with them to get them to look right and placed right, and then they required things to be straight, and the circles were just easy. So I'm going to stick 3 of those on. So come visit in the first 2 weeks of the, yes, you do have the rally up there in, yeah, because you're right up there in the Black Hills area, aren't you? So I'm sure that there will be lots of motorcycles up there. My sister actually is an attorney in the state and works for the state, and she actually is a prosecutor, and they used to set up court right out there in the Black Hills, in the middle of the rally. And yeah, when people were acting a fool, they would, make sure that they were, got prosecuted for drunken driving and all that sort of craziness that happens out there with that. So that's my story on Sturgis. So, all right, got Tuxedo Black Memento ink, and I'm going to ink up the sentiment from the Legendary Ride stamp set. And we're going to stamp it on a piece of very vanilla cardstock. And the cardstock is cut to about 4 by 5 1/4. And there we go. And Roxanne hops in just in time to hear my story about my sister and her and the motorcycle thing. So, all right. We've got pumpkin pie ink that I'm going to use for to stamp the little motorcycle again. So I'm going to ink it up, stamp it on scrap paper, and then stamp it sort of over the top of the sentiment. There we go. And close that up before I stick my fingers in it, and we'll stick this on the inside of the card, and then we'll be all done for today. So, free stamping closet opens. Okay. Oh, so this is not, okay. Okay, so it's a stamping storage unit. Okay, that is awesome. So hopefully you're able to get it, or she's able to get it. So, all right, we'll stick this to the inside of the card. Again, just use the little Stampin' Seal in there. Gonna close it up and do a quick crease along the top with the bone folder. And that's it for today. So that's the card, super simple, pretty, it's a cool little bundle. So definitely consider getting it, because like I said, the dies, I need to play more with the dies and kind of do the layering on the motorcycle, because I think that one would be pretty cool. You can make it whatever color you want. You can add all the chrome pieces and all that good stuff with it. So definitely a good one. So, all right, thanks so much for joining today. I appreciate you all being here. I'll plan to be live on my YouTube channel around 2 o'clock Eastern Time on Friday, and then back here again live next week, Tuesday, around 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And all the details for this card will be posted on my blog tomorrow, which is stampwithamyk.com. I'll link up in the description of the video directly to the blog post, so you can go take a peek at it and see, all the cardstock cuts, see all the products that I used and all that good stuff. So thanks again for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Don't forget about my ordering special with the adhesives. Don't forget about the joining special going on, all sorts of good things. Let me know if you have questions about anything. Again, all the details will be on my blog tomorrow. So we'll chat with you all soon.